Everyone, Mike Nutritional, Master Herbalist here with Z Natural Foods. And today's video is going to be answering the question, which is better, acai or blueberries? But before we get started, there are a few things I need to mention. First and foremost, if you are looking to find out more information about me or you'd like to see some of my other videos, you can of course head to znaturalfoods.com, or you can also go to my YouTube channel at A Master Herbalist's Perspective. Next is our medical disclaimer. The information you're about to receive is for educational purposes only, and it is not intended to be used to treat, prescribe, or diagnose any specific or general medical condition, and is not a substitute for your primary healthcare provider's diagnosis, treatment plan, or medical information. With that said, let's begin. Every culture defines how and why an individual food is considered healthy based on various factors. According to Western medicine, healthy food is a substance that provides the nourishment needed to sustain well-being and retain energy. Traditional Chinese medicine looks at foods from a slightly different perspective. According to TCM, food is not defined as healthy or unhealthy, but instead, if it's the right food for an individual at a specific time. According to TCM, all foods have energy, and TCM teaches us that foods have yin-yang energy, 5 temperatures, 5 flavors, and 4 directions. Within these principles, yin and yang's actions is the general property of the food, and the temperature is the extremeness of those properties. In simple terms, yin is cooling, builds blood, and has what's known as a downward moving energy. Yang is warming, energizing, and has an upward moving energy. Next is to understand how we evaluate the effectiveness of any substance or food we consume, and to also define a specific criteria for how an individual should assess their progress and results. The average individual consumes stimulants like caffeine on a daily basis because it effectively boosts energy levels for a short period of time. Pharmaceuticals are also a fast-acting isolated compound created to have a specific targeted approach through particular mechanisms of action with a somewhat predictable end result. As individuals, we may each respond slightly different, but the bottom line is these substances work, but at what cost? Because the average individual consumes stimulants and prescription pharmaceuticals daily, we expect to feel a significant effect that a substance is generally, let me rephrase that. We expect to feel a specific effect to declare that a substance is generally compelling. Well, this concept has skewed our perspective on what is realistic and healthy. We believe a healthy way to assess the effectiveness of natural substances like foods, herbs, and spices on any individual is to look at how each one of us may respond in our own unique way. It's challenging to provide specific guidelines because we all have intrinsic unique differences in how we react, both physically and emotionally, to what we consume. Still, there are golden rules you should consider following to keep things in perspective for you, okay? 1, foods, herbs, medicinal mushrooms do not work like pharmaceuticals or isolated compounds because they contain a complexity of natural compounds that work synergistically, potentially supporting a more balanced and subtle end result. They work on multiple mechanisms of action, whereas isolated compounds generally tend to focus on only one. Next, everyone is different or is in a different place mentally, physically, and emotionally. These factors consistently change based on many perspectives of an individual's lifestyle. Therefore, these factors may change the time frame and outcome of an individual's results. Next, our society uses caffeine-based beverages like coffee, tea, and energy drinks, providing a powerful and effective short-term burst of energy. Therefore, this skews our perspective into believing everything should work quickly and be as powerful. And finally, concentration levels of a food or product are essential when looking at appropriate ways of consuming and evaluating timeframes and overall results. So just be aware of how concentrated or how strong of a concentration the food or the product you're consuming is before you look at a time frame and evaluating how your outcome should be. So when we talk about foods like acai and blueberries, there are many powerful compounds found within these foods. And I'm just going to discuss 4 of these general categories of compounds. The first are known as polyphenols. Polyphenols are a term used to describe a general category of compounds found in a broad spectrum of fruits, vegetables, teas, and other foods that work as what are known as reducing agents, along with other compounds like antioxidants to support a healthy inflammation response and the body's ability to protect and repair damaged tissue caused by what is known as oxidative stress. While there are over 8,000 polyphenols that have been identified, some of the most common are flavonoids, flavanols, and anthocyanins. The importance of discussing these various compounds allows you to more clearly understand the wide range of complexity of nourishment you are getting from foods like blueberries, acai berries, even strawberries, raspberries, a wide variety of these different very brightly colored fruits and vegetables. Flavonoids are a group of water-soluble polyphenolic, what are known as secondary metabolites found in plants thought to provide health benefits through what is known as cell signaling. This is a process where the cell responds to a substance outside of the cell through signaling molecules found on the surface of that cell and the antioxidant effects of that food as well. Secondary metabolites are substances manufactured by plants that make them compete in their environment, exerting a wide range of effects on the plant itself and the surrounding living organisms, including flowering, fruit setting, signaling behavior, and acting as what are known as antimicrobials. Over 50,000 secondary metabolites have been discovered, and many modern medicines rely on them for their mechanism of action. There are 6 subclasses of flavonoids: anthocyanins, flavinols, flavanones, and isoflavonones. These account for approximately 60% of all polyphenols. Flavanols are polyphenols belonging to the flavonoid family with a ketone group studied for their wide range of biological activity: antioxidant, antimicrobial, hepatoprotective, modulating inflammation, and vasodilation. They primarily accumulate in the outer tissue, skin and leaf, of fruits and vegetables, and are the building blocks of proanthocyanins, compounds that attribute to the color of fruit and vegetables, and are the most widespread of all these compounds in the human diet. And the fourth are anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are a part of the flavonoid family of polyphenolic compounds. They represent the pigment that exhibit the bright red, purple, and blue colors found in fruits and vegetables. And there are many very powerful anthocyanins found in foods. So now let's discuss a little bit about blueberries. Blueberries, or what we also like to call nature's brain tonic, while all fruits are well known for their bright, vibrant color and highly nourishing polyphenolic content, these powerful, what I like to call blue nuggets of deliciousness, also known as brain berries, are considered one of the world's most nutritious and well-studied common fruits. Blueberries are native to North America, with 98% of their production happening in just 10 states. There are 4 varieties of blueberries. There's the high bush, the hybrid, the high half, and the rabbit eye. But there is only one true king, and that is known as the low bush, aka the wild blueberry. Because they are smaller and contain less water, they are considered to have a more compact form of nourishment to match their uniquely sweet, tangy, and slightly floral taste. As mentioned earlier, anthocyanins, a flavonoid water-soluble pigment that give fruits and vegetables their color, account for approximately 60% of the total polyphenols in blueberries, yielding approximately 500 milligrams per 100 grams, ranking blueberries at number 16 behind what I would consider some pretty impressive contenders for foods richest in polyphenols. Other predominant bioactive compounds found in blueberries are resveratrol and flavonoids like quercetin. A survey of antioxidant capacity and polyphenolic composition of blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries conclude that blueberries have exceptionally high levels of anthocyanins and proanthocyanins. Another study in neuroregeneration research conducted on young and old participants that consumed blueberries daily showed that an increase in blood flow to key brain areas and improvements in memory and attention by simply consuming blueberries on a daily basis. Blueberries, a traditional Chinese medical perspective. According to TCM, blueberries are cool in temperature, have a sweet and sour flavor that enter through the lungs, stomach, spleen channels, and are specifically used to clear what TCM knows as heat and dampness. In TCM, the liver represents springtime because blueberries are late spring through midsummer fruit. In TCM, they are also known to help support the elimination of toxins and nourish the liver, yin, and blood. What are acai berries? Acai are dark purple berries native to South America with an earthy, bitter, mildly sweet, nutty flavor, and what some people would consider a chocolate blackberry undertone. If you close your eyes when eating acai berries, you can taste the notes of chocolate. The name comes from the native tribe known as the Tupi, T-U-P-I, meaning weeping fruit. Acai has caused quite the rage in North America as a highly nourishing and healing food used in smoothies, fruit juices, and other healthy snacks. A human study looking at pharmacokinetics of anthocyanin and antioxidant effects after consuming anthocyanin-rich acai juice, and pulp demonstrating increased plasma antioxidant activity of up to 2 to 3-fold, specifically for acai juice and pulp. Acai has been a part of the human diet of indigenous people in the Amazon for centuries, contributing up to as much as 40% of their diet. Traditionally eaten hot, salted, and accompanied by cassava flour. Acai berries are approximately 90% seed, so it's not uncommon to find tiny bits in a freeze-dried powder. Is acai a superfruit? To correctly answer this question, it's vital to understand not only the definition and characteristics of what is known as superfoods, but how they compare to what are known as functional foods. It's important to also understand that there is no legal definition for either one of these specific terms. Functional food is defined as dietary items that provide nutrients and energy and modulate multiple targeted functions in the human body by supporting specific physiological responses. For example, fermented dairy products are functional food that offer essential probiotic bacteria for supporting and restoring gut health. A superfood is a food rich in compounds considered beneficial to a person's health, containing a very high nutritional density with meager calorie count. Therefore, to answer whether or not acai is a superfood, the answer to that question is no. Acai is a functional food. These foods are actually the most intensely researched category within with the intent to understand better how their unique compounds can support health by modulating specific mechanisms of action. So, to answer the question in this video, which is what's healthier, blueberries or acai, based on Eastern and Western definition, both blueberries and acai fit the bill as healthy foods because they both contain a treasure trove of highly nourishing compounds shown in human studies to affect human health in a profound way. Whichever is healthier for you may be a matter of your taste, specific usage, and how you choose to incorporate into your daily diet. So I hope this was a helpful video to all you guys, because I realize that this is a very complex topic by nature. I realize that there's a lot of very complex information in videos of this nature, but in the end, most of these foods should be looked at as individual entities with regard to how we're going to use them, during what season we're going to eat them, and how we are incorporating them into our daily nutritional habits. With that said, this is Mike's Nutritional Master Herbalist with Z Natural Foods. I'll see you next time.